You have the audacity to say the fathers. What fathers? What fathers? What fathers? That's where you losing a lot of people. What fathers? You don't want to acknowledge the truth, and that's where you get lost every time. Darwin, Bruiser.
Okay, well
That's
then
where you
that
get.
what about it?
That's where you get lost.
What about it?
You don't want to acknowledge the reality of where the community is, and that's why we can't have solution-based conversations and move
Where's the
forward.
community?
The community is absentee fathers are a chronic issue. Period. No matter how you slice it, dice it, flip it up, put it down, there is an issue with the black man missing as a father. And I'm not talking about the fun weekend dad, the dad that takes the kids to the McDonald's every other weekend, and I'm talking about the father. And whether or not you're in the home, I'm not talking about that because that's a different conversation. I'm talking about you showing up for your kids. I'm talking about you parenting in a real way, not in an abstract way, where you're doing all the things you need to do. You're helping with the homework, you're clipping the fingernails, you're paying for the field trips, you're buying the uniforms, you're buying the winter coats, the boots, without a woman asking you. You're doing all the things that need to be done and covered. You're not complaining, you're doing. You're being the leader that you say you want to be. It's not happening. You guys are saying that you want to be the leaders, but you're not showing up. You're not leading. You're not initiating. Your demographic is the least to get married to any race, not just black women. When you go and you get involved with your preferences, they have the same issues that the black women have with you. So is the issue the black women, or is it you? What's the commitment issue? What's the issue with getting married? What's the issue with planning roots and having a family? Let's talk.
So
So
that was false. That was false information. What you just said. There are seven
exactly.
hundred thousand more
Show
married black.
data that
There,
proves
there are,
that.
there are. You can Google it after I state. I'm not doing that anymore for anybody. Like, if you really care about it, you go research it. There's seven
Me
hundred
either. I
thousand.
have.
I didn't interrupt you. There's 700,000 more married black men than black women. Black women are the most divorced out of any race in any group. So even if you're telling men, this is the problem with asking men to practice discipline, asking men to be leaders, asking men to protect and provide. Women have no responsibility to the men or children. So even when men do the right thing, black women are still divorcing them and leaving them. So it ain't about why men aren't being loving, being supportive, being given provisions. It's why are women unmarriageable and not being cooperative? You're not listening to the guy you chose to sleep with, and we know that because you don't cooperate when you single, and you don't cooperate when you in a marriage. And you claim that women love men, but if women love men, they wouldn't go from man to man to man to man to man. They would have worked it out with the first guy, and they would have made that first choice a good choice. So if Shannon is going to make a solution based conversation, it would be to marry before we carry. But I'll ask Shannon this and the women on the panel this: what woman is going to agree to? Majority of women, are they agree to they won't sleep with anybody until they get married? And the answer I say is no.
Uh-oh.
And Shannon knows the answer about that too. If we walk down the solutions, women don't listen to no man. They don't listen to their husband. They don't listen to their daddy, and they don't even listen to God. So it's going to be very difficult to get a woman to listen if she won't even listen to God. Go ahead, Shannon.
Also,
So I'm gonna tell you the thing that I do agree with you. I think that some women can be combative, right? I think because even me dealing with women, I can see that some women, need a little bit more improvement with that. Okay, so I will agree with that. But I want to go back to the stat what was the stat that you just stated? I just lost.
Black women have the highest divorce rate out of any group of women,
Absolutely.
and
Okay.
there's 700,000 more married black men than black women. Black men and black women out. There's 4 million more black women than black men. So we still out marrying black women, even though there's more black women than black men. All the other races, their women out marry the men, except for our race.
Okay, so this is one of two things, right? So when we want to compare marriage with when it comes to men, it should be compared to other men. So when she said you are the least married, she means amongst men. So so let me finish. So amongst any other race of men, right? Because black women can, even though you are marrying more than black women, which she's just saying, hey, out of all the men, you're the least men to be married, not in comparison to women. We're talking about amongst the races. When it comes to the divorce, and I brought this stat up a while ago, we have to be very careful when we're talking about stats, right? You are absolutely correct. Black women, I remember Black women are 70%, 70% of the time, Black women file for divorce. But how many divorces are there? 30%. Most marriages are successful. We keep pushing this narrative. Yes, we did this, and I sent it to Trev one time.
Hold on, no, that's a lie.
Trev, didn't I send you that stat in your IG one time?
It's like a 49-51.
I got the stat.
No, and second marriages are worse, and third marriages are worse. It just keeps declining.
Yeah, the second and third one, it drops down like 60%.
I'm gonna
looking at marriage overall. She's basically saying in the Black community,
I don't mind sending it again.
All marriages, only 30% of them are ending in divorce.
True, but Shannon, Shannon is asking for solutions, and then she's going to the fact that we're not as married as the white men, but she's not gonna she'll give us the solution.
I'm gonna get to that.
She's using numbers on a general basis, and then when she make an argument, she shrink it down to the black.
I'm gonna give you another minute on this to wrap that part of it.
Shannon, go ahead and finish.
Can I just respond to what he said?
Shannon was finishing though. Shannon was finishing.
The reason why I want to say that is because it's so important that we give real info. Like we keep on. You have to give factual information. You have to give the real research and say it the way it is written, right? We can't have this narrative like, 70% of divorce, because people are like, oh my God, I'm gonna get a divorce. That's not true information. 70% of Black women do file for divorce, but how many divorces on it? Only 30%. So 70% of those 30% is Black women filing for divorce. Let's stop playing like Black people are not married and they're not staying married. That is incorrect information. Majority are married. We have a whole panel full tonight. You understand?
That's not true.
No, they're not. That's
fine.
That is not true. To what he said to my stat really quick.
We were having a conversation before you came back.
No, but I need to respond to what
he said. We were still having a dialogue. You're interrupting.
Hold on.
So really quick, Black women, when dating interracially, are 4 times as likely to have a successful marriage in interracial dating. So I point that out to say, once again, who is the common denominator in these situations? Now, I don't even want to sit here and play the blame game, right? But I don't like being lied on. I don't like that. So don't make me pull out these statistics because they're not in your favor. I would like to have the conversation beyond the blame game. I would like to talk about what we can do to be better and move forward as a community, because a lot of y'all talk about y'all are individualists. Y'all came down on Kim talking about she's an individualist because she don't want to have kids, but y'all are not collective. Y'all not into collectivism, because if you were, you would be having conversations about how to cover and protect the women and the children in your community, regardless if it's your wife or if it's the children that are in your house. Y'all are not really into collectivism. Y'all talk so much about individualism, but y'all don't know what that really consists of. Look at China, look at Japan. Look how they take care of each other as a community. Look how they look at the bigger picture.
Well, why you don't go to China then?
Well, you still pushing.
That is a reflection of what collectivism
looks like. And nobody came down on Kim because of she didn't want to have a kid. We were strategically exposing that a woman can use a calling as a way to deviate from the intentions God made man and women for. Whenever you're supposed to be married to a man, and if you call yourself biblically driven, you're supposed to submit to him, and a calling or anything like that doesn't supersede that, because basically it's an exploitation of trying to convince a man that you're marrying that your calling and your submission to Christ is mutually exclusive when it's supposed to be joined together. And the only way you're supposed to submit to Christ, if you're in the relationship, if you're in a marriage, is through the man. So if a man wants to have kids and you say no because of a calling, that's a contradiction. That's actually using God's word to manipulate the situation.
Giving into a calling is actually a part of collectivism.
I'm gonna get a couple cats in that and get to really wrap it.
That's how it works.